Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Indian Racing League. This is round 2 of Division 1, and we are at the Portugal circuit in the Algarve region of the westernmost country in Europe. Joining me in the comms box is championship leader for Division 2, Srikanth Das. Srikanth, how are you doing? And thank you so much for stepping in at the last minute to join me in the comms box tonight.
Thanks Mala for the intro, and it was the last minute call, and as I can see both the Mercedes are out in formation with Azun on wet tires and Redstone on softs, and we can see various drivers like Jishnu, VFix, Tanishq and Hushra doing some race runs on hard and medium tires.
Yeah, seems like those race runs are getting quite popular these days. I don't know who started the trend, but either ways, yes, Azun is on the wets, so that is something which he would like some attendance to, attention to himself, as Jishnu on the hards, as is VFix, who's just come out on track. So we'll keep an eye out on the people who are on the soft tires, which will give you maximum grip, and preferably they will be on low fuel as well. Talking about this track, Srikanth, how do you like this track? We had a race here yesterday where the lobby decided to die after, I think, lap 25, was it? But what are your thoughts on this track?
I would not like to talk about the lobby glitches and all that, but the strats is like pretty basically it's like medium to hard every track, so that's the optimal strategy. If you are starting at back, you can gamble on the hard tires because you can go longer. Because we saw yesterday, Thakova had a great start starting P10, and so did Sid Venkatesh. Sid Venkatesh was almost on the verge to win the race. Just that EA messed him up. Sorry, Sid. We can't do anything.
Right, Sid Venkatesh did indeed have a good strategy yesterday, starting on the hards and was going to end on the mediums until the safety car hit. Basil has disconnected, and Suraj and Nishan in the comms
Wait,
box,
I
in the
will
comments section.
send him in the invite.
Suraj, long time. We were hoping you would join me for commentary, but apparently you have other priorities, and we are waiting for you to make your comeback. It's been a while, and you did mention once that January is the month where we'll see you back in action. So hopefully next weekend, we'll see if we can get you a seat. Redstone Dub, by the way, the first person to be on a hot lap, and he's just entering the last sector of the track. So we'll keep an eye out on him. Seems pretty planted at Mercedes, and I love this track. I mean, the undulation, it's a bit difficult to overtake, but the kind of corners it has, and obviously a couple of low traction zones coupled with the undulation on the track, where that's something which is really nice to see, as Redstone up across the line in just a couple of seconds, and he will set down the marker here, and he goes 117.3. I have no
And
idea what the benchmark is. Srikanth, if you can help us to understand
yeah,
what kind of lifetimes would we be expecting from this Division 1 drivers tonight.
we might expect 117 once or high 116s if we do see some sweaty drivers. And Husha goes
There are a lot
182.
of
Yeah,
sweaty
there
drivers.
are. Yeah,
So I'm sure we'll see someone in the 116s at least, considering 117.3
yeah.
is the
TVK
first time.
just invalidated his lap, and Azun retired. Classic Azun starting from the back on softs. Yeah.
Right. Let's see if anyone else is on a lap. Maybe
Shadow Sword
Abhishek's.
just invalidated. Yes, Abhishek is on a lap on soft ice.
Oh, but he's going slow as well. Is he?
Yeah,
Not
he is
entirely.
not using his battery. I think he messed up his initial stages of the lap, so
Yeah, he'll have to
he's
go
going for
again.
another run.
And this corner, turn 8, has did catch out quite a few people last night. It's a low traction zone, and you are bound to lose your car if you are very eager on the throttle. So I'm sure Division 1 drivers will hopefully keep out of trouble, as Abhishek keeps out of the way of another driver. Let me see if I can catch anyone who's on. I think Shadow Sword will start another lap, and let's see what.
Viper Speed is starting a lap in the Williams main straight. Yeah, so DRS is open, and
think he's on the
He
mediums, so I don't
he's
think
on the
this will be
mediums. Yep,
as
he is on a
competitive.
race run,
Yeah, could be
and
on a
Shadow
race
is
run.
on.
And
Yep,
Shadow
Shadow
Sword,
is on a lap.
yeah, he is on a lap, and Shadow Sword probably has more fuel, which is why he has gone for a consecutive lap here. So, again, this will be not that competitive of a time, but we'll see how it turns out. Uh,
Malav, I think we will see like a more like pressurized last few minutes because everyone is sandbagging at this rate. Only Redstone and Viom are the only drivers who are like doing competitive times. Everyone else is just sandbagging, so it will be come down to the wire at the last minute. And the
yeah, and
track
that
evolution is also crazy around this track, so times might change. We don't know.
absolutely, and that time from Redstone seems quite impressive now, considering Vyom has gone almost more than 3 seconds slower than that, and Hershey in the 118s, Hirsch 1298 in
Yeah.
the low
And Abhishek
18s.
is rounding up the final corner. Where do you think he will end up? And he rounds up the final corner inside line and opens the DRS and he jumps to P3, 117.8.
P3.
Not a bad lap.
Not a bad lap at all, considering it's on used tires. So
Yep.
when he goes on maybe one of his final runs on minimum fuel, you can expect him to be in the low 17s as well. We'll keep an eye out on that. Is there anyone else who's on a hot lap?
Oxidize. Oxidize is starting his lap and
All
he's
right,
going for
Oxidize
full
is starting
push.
his lap, and Srikant, maybe you can take us through this
Yeah.
entire lap on the circuit.
Yeah. Opens his DRS and he's going through, goes wide on the curbs, hits the apex, and then again wide. He kept a pretty tight line and the neat line out of turn 1. Turn 3, low traction zone. He might lose it here, but he won't. And he just goes wide around the turn 4 and DRS opens. And he hits the apex, and then he is using a wider line and he went fastest first sector, and he's keeping his line tight through turn 8 low traction corner, and he manages to do it well. And there's a slow car ahead of him. I think it's PSI, I guess. And who's that? He went out of the way, and it's a pretty nice lap from him. It might end up like 117.9 or something, or 117.7, because it was his pole time last night, and he almost invalidates it, but he keeps it tight out of last corner, hugs the apex and keeps the inside line, and then opens the DRS, crosses the line. P2! Oh my god. It's a former teammate's front row, Redstone and Oxidize.
Yeah,
Such a nice
absolutely. And
lap
if
from
you
him.
needed any more evidence that there are some very quick drivers, including the one joining me in the comms box, there it is, Oxidize in P2, Hirsch in P5, and I think Basil might be on a lap as well. Basil in his Williams, and I think he might have lost the
I
car a little bit. I'm
think,
not
yep,
sure.
he lost his car into turn 8, out of turn
It's
8.
it's a very weird angle Codemasters give, so it's not very easy to make that judgment. But I think he did lose his car a little bit. Got a wobbly on the exit, but I think he'll still go on to complete his lap. Not a lot of drivers who are doing any runs right now, so plenty of action to be had in the final few minutes of this qualifying session. I want to see where VFix is. VFix is in P10, and I think
P10.
he's on an out lap. So
Yep.
our race leader, race winner,
And
and
Hushrav
Hushrav.
goes fastest.
Hushrav goes fastest.
3597. Okay, that's pretty tight at there. Okay. Can VFix beat that, or will he join the front row or the second? And
I
Bharat
think
left
he
the
has
session.
been very consistent in qualifying VFix and in the race, obviously. But he's the man with the most poles in IRL history. And he did get a pole last time as well. I'm not entirely sure. My memory
No,
is
no,
a bit
no. He did not.
faded.
He did
But he
not.
did win the race, and that's what matters. But here we go. VFX starting his lap and through the first couple of turns. And we'll see how he throws his car around for the next 2.5 miles to see where the car puts up, and it looked like he lost the car as well, but I don't think that was the case. He's up by half a second, and that's the kind of difference you have when you put on the soft tires versus a previous hard tire run. Yes, Kosalia, by the way, in the mediums, on the mediums rather, and is 1:18.0. I'm not sure if he set that time on the mediums or he has fitted the medium tire right now, but that is pretty impressive for him.
He did set his time on the soft tire, Mala.
Right, okay, so VFX, just 2-3 corners to go, and he has gone a second faster in the second sector. And now just one corner to go, and it seems like this is the lap which will put him on the front row at least, and probably even provisional pole as things stands. Let's see if he can dip into the 16s. VFX across the line, and it's not that close between him and Hushrav. It's a whole 7/10 off, or rather, whole 6.5 tenths off Hushrav. Wow, that's a bit surprising.
And it is pretty tight at the top between the top four. I might count top five because Oxidize is not the one to let loose, and he's one competitive driver. He pushes you every time. And who else is on a lap? I think
RevKing is about to
Ferrari is
complete. RevKing is about to complete a lap in the Alfa Romeo,
okay.
and Alfa Romeo, who have new sponsors, I believe, for the coming
It is
season.
Stake. Stake
Yep,
Alfa
Stake,
Romeo.
and not Orlan. I think Orlan has now associated with Alpha Tauri. I'm not entirely sure.
Yes.
But here we go. RevKing across the line should put him in top
And
10. And yes, he goes P10 just about the 179. And is PSI? No, I think it's Viper who's about to complete a lap. Has no time on the board right now. Goes P15. What about Ethan? Ethan is usually good in qualifying, and he's a very sorted driver across the line. For him, it's only P13. I think TBK was on a lap, so let's see how that's going. He's down by 2.5 seconds, so he's made a mistake somewhere, Ethan. TBK rather. Who else?
and he's boxing.
This boxing, Abhishek has invalidated. Is anyone on a lap? Viper Speed is on another lap. Is by almost 3/10 in the first sector alone.
But he doesn't have any RS, so
Yeah, no battery, and
might
probably
be.
the tires would be used as well.
Yeah.
So,
And this
Chips
track is
in the comment
pretty.
section.
Oh,
Chips, why did you not race? Let us know what happened.
yeah.
Unless you anticipated that you won't be able to join the lobby. We'd like to have you race, and obviously give us more competition, give these drivers more competition, as Viper Speed now is going to cross the line, has running on fumes as far as battery and tire life is concerned, but he will still complete the lap. I don't know if he will have time to come around for another one after boxing.
And
But
he
Viper Speed
improves by
across the
2
line.
tenths.
Yeah, he does improve by
Not
two
bad.
tenths. So maybe the first lap wasn't that good at all. And Vyom, is he on a lap? I think he
Yeah,
is.
he's on a lap. Yep.
And
He's
no,
on
he's not. I think he's on an out lap and will start the lap now.
No, it's his lap, I guess. I think he messed up his lap, so he's going for another lap.
Yep,
Was it?
17.7 for him, or maybe it showed me 3 minutes. So I'm
And
assuming.
he is not using his battery. Strange.
I hope he hasn't forgotten to turn the hot lap
That will
on.
be very unfortunate for
Nah,
him.
it's definitely going slowly. He's not on
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lap right now.
he is warming up his
Probably,
tires.
I don't know
Yeah,
if this was the track where we did see a
yeah,
few teams
yeah,
doing two out laps.
yeah. In
But
2020 Portimao.
yes, and that's a goal for Barcelona. Sorry, that is absolutely not related to what we are seeing on screen right now. But I'm just watching football by the side, and yeah, that makes me a happy man. Yes, Kosalia in the Ferrari, that Scarlet car, and I think he is on a lap. So let's see how close he
Yes.
can get to his teammate who's up into P3. But it's still strange to see Redstone between VFX and TBK. It just shows how much quick he is and how he's improved. Or maybe VFX and TBK have just had a bad day. Even Vyom, for that matter, behind Oxidized, who was, of course, pole sitter last night. But Yash now across the line. And does it use the entire track as far as the last corner is concerned? But let's see where he can put his Ferrari. Won't have a time for another run unless he goes for consecutive runs. Yes, across the
And he
line.
puts it on the pole, provisional
Wow.
pole.
What a lap from Yash Kosalia. And he is on provisional pole by 1.5 tenths, that too. So that has laid down a marker, and Redstone Dub is on a mission right now. He is also up on his time, and let's
But
see what
don't
he can
discount
do.
Hushrav and VFX. It might be TBK. You don't know. Surprise pole
Absolutely. I
incoming.
think anyone out of top 7 could put it on pole. Nothing to
Yeah.
take away from the people who are from P8 and below, but it could be anyone who's on pole right now. And yes, Gosalia has
And
just.
Redstone is rounding up the penultimate corner. Let's see where he will finish. And we are seeing a horse spinning on the last corner. Will it
I hope they
obstruct
don't
Redstone?
collide. Yeah,
No,
that's.
they won't. And Redstone goes. Redstone goes front row.
P2. That is also quite close.
110, 110 down. This grid is pretty close, to be honest.
Oh, Oxidize has invalidated, so I think that was the start of his lap. Basil has popped up into P7. VFX, Hushrav, and TBK all on an out lap.
And they are
Where is.
going
Oh, what? Abhishek spun. The Red Bull in Sector 1. Yes, Kosalia has retired in the pit, so I think his qualifying is done, and now he can just wait and watch what others are doing.
Abhishek's welcome to the Jokers Club. So.
Right, so Hushrav and VFX both have just about started the lap behind each other, that too. Hushrav on the just reaching turn 1 now, and VFX in the middle of the straight.
No, it's Rev King ahead of Hushrav. He's on a lap as well. So Rev King also has some pace. He might end up top 5. So we can't say about this grid who will end up where. Because
And
it's
TBK
pretty
has
close.
just started a lap as well with 30 seconds to go. So it counts now, and it counts a lot if you can put a good climb. And TBK has invalidated, and that is his quali done. Oxidize will also make it to the line, so he will get a lap in. And let's see what Hushrav is up to meanwhile, because Hushrav will be one of the first people to start up. Can you just check where. Oh, Vyom is in the pits. He is not
Yep.
going to take any further
His
part.
quali is done. So is Redstone, Ethan, Basil, and Viper's Feet and Abdul Samad. And that is classic Abdul Samad, starting from the back and bagging all the DOTDs.
Driver of the
So-
days, yes. Yeah.
Yep.
If I've seen. Oh, Hushrav is
Oh, Hushrav
spun!
spins! Oh my god. And Jishnu goes P5 displacing TBK, and VFix is ending his lap, and he's in the final corner and someone is ahead of him. And he goes...
Can he go P1?
And
No,
he goes
cannot.
P3! And the top 4 are separated by few hundreds. Yes, they are separated by few hundreds. Pretty
And
close.
let's see what Abhishek can do, by the way, because Abhishek.
No, Abhishek did spin, so he is coming into the pits. And this is quali done.
Well,
And
it
Harsh
shows he's
spins.
up on his time, Abhishek. So yeah,
Is he?
I did see him spin, but it's weird. Maybe he went around and started another lap. I'm not entirely sure. But
Yeah,
for
might
some
be, he
reason,
might have started.
I don't think he had enough time to do that. But either way, let's just see if he can put this lap and if he can improve. He's not improving by much, so it
And his
would hardly
battery
make a
is
difference. And
And
Abhishek,
he stays P12.
yeah, he improves by about one and I think 16 thousandths of a second, but does not improve his position. So that's call done. Yash Gosalia on pole with Redstone in P2 and VFX and Hushrav P3, P4 with Jishnu and TBK on the third of the grid, followed by Oxidized, Ethan, PSI Legends, and Basil. So it is a very competitive grid at the start, and you can see P1 to P14 all within 1 second of each other. So that is very, very close for a track which is a bit difficult to navigate sometimes. So that should make up for a very interesting race.
Yeah, and this track is pretty technical, and And we have seen the overcut is too powerful on this track, so we might see longer stints from drivers. So we can't say what will happen, and the grid is pretty close.
Yeah,
And
overcut. I don't know if it's just this track or all tracks on this game because the hard tires take that time to switch on. But yes, overcut is something which is a preferred strategy sometimes, considering there could be a safety car where you would lose less time in the pits. So, in fact, I remember yesterday Smith and I were battling, and he was ahead of me by half a second or a second. He pit, and I pit 2 laps later, and I still came out ahead of him. He did eventually overtake me, but those hard tires take a lot of time to get into the optimal operating temperature. So all the strategies to play for, and I would also like to see who starts on the hards versus on the mediums, because considering this is Division 1 and drivers are very competitive, as we just mentioned, it's also likely that there might be some incidents which will bring out untimely safety cars, and that would play a part in the strategy as well.
Mala, what are your prediction for? Oh my God, it's a
Oh!
wet race. Redstone is a one happy boy here. Oh my God.
It is a wet race. We completely missed that. I
And
mean, there's no
someone
way for us to know.
started readied up. Oh my God, that was a surprise. Do you think drivers were running the wet setup
It
in
could
quali
be.
and
It could
sacrificing
be.
their times?
Yeah, it could be. If it's going to be a wet race throughout those 33 laps. Seems like Inters right now, but you never know. It could be that they are running higher downforce and whatever other changes you make to the setup. I'm not a master at setups at all. But here we
Yes.
go. It is intermediates as far as I can see
Yes,
for
it's
everyone on the
intermediates.
grid. And wow, what a race we have on our hands right now. Yash Kosalia and Redstone leading the field. Yash Kosalia needs to slow down a little bit because the others will take time to catch up, and he doesn't want to sit at the front of the grid with cold tires. So he will start weaving his Ferrari right about now and put some temperature on the tires. But there you go, a wet race, and that's a rarity, to be honest.
And there's a pile up behind
Oh,
at
who
turn
was
2,
that?
turn
Was it
3.
PSI or was it Basil? It
It
was
was
PSI.
PSI. PSI. PSI spun and there was a pile up behind from Vyom to Bharat.
Yeah, and look at the gap between Redstone and Yash Kosalia. What is
Yeah,
happening?
it's chaos already.
Yeah, and imagine what lap one is going to be like this. The formation lap we have seen so much action on the formation lap. PSI towards
And
the end
someone
of the field.
spins, and that is PSI. I think PSI is struggling with his throttle. He is not putting down his power correctly.
Or
And
maybe he's just trying to get temperature into the tires. That's something which I've
yeah,
seen a
you
lot of
never
people
know.
do.
You never know. It's a
Especially
trade secret.
TBK.
Yeah,
Especially
especially
TBK. Yeah, there you
TBK.
go. Right on cue, TBK. Right on
Oh my
cue.
God.
He just does that every time. Look at that.
Guys, this is not scripted. Okay, this is not scripted. Before you accuse us
I just have so much faith in TBK. Look at him just lawn mowing.
that
And
he might get a report or two.
yeah, I think this is a bit extreme to be honest from him. And
Yeah, he
he's
impeded
putting other
couple of
drivers,
drivers.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
putting other drivers at risk.
and there's
So,
Ethan spinning.
right. So everyone has caught up to Yash now, so he doesn't have a big gap behind him, and this will be interesting to see. What a beautiful shot of the track we have on our screen right now. It's a wide track, especially on the main street. You could go maybe 6 or 7 wide at this rate. That's how wide the track is, but it does get a bit narrow at other sections. So should be an interesting race, and we have not a very long run down to turn one,
And Jishnu
especially.
Oxida is disqualified. They can't
Yes.
park it straight. Oh, and who else? Everyone is parking it straight and nice. And yep, everyone has parked up.
Right, you want to take the start, Srikanth?
No, you take it.
All
It's
right,
your job.
5 lights on the grid, and its lights are out and we are underway. It's a good start from Yash, I think, and behind him VFix has got a good start as well. He will challenge Redstone into turn 1. VFix and Redstone going side by side. VFix is a bit wide of the road, but Redstone is still trying to hang it around, and behind them Hushrav is also on the attack. Hushrav and VFix, this is going to be spicy, and VFix settles into turn 4, but TBK, look at that, what a brilliant move. TBK might just get Hushrav down the inside. He goes for a dive bomb. Is he going to get VFix as well? Oh, TBK just a bit
And
wobbly on
he
the
unsettles
exit.
his rear, and Viom overtakes Jishnu on the outside, and Basil is on the inside of Jishnu, and he is gonna make it the outside. And into turn 8, and Jishnu and Basil side by side, and they make contact twice, and they are facing the straightway, and Oxidize is struggling with his power, and he almost loses it from P3 or 4 to P11, and we can see Jishnu is trembling down the order. I think he is having damage, and he makes contact with Abhishek, and it is pretty chaotic for lap 1, and I can see a gap between Basil and PSI.
Yeah,
And
PSI
PSI and
losing the position
Shadows,
to
yep,
Shadow, and
side by
PSI
side.
trying to get his
And
position back. Ethan might
both
also get in on the action. There are two Aston Martins and two Alpines, and let's see what Oxidized Race can do. They are side by side through that. They almost make contact, but keep it in one piece. And now using all the battery he can is Oxidized Rage ahead of them. Oh my, opening a lot of curb is PSI,
oh
and
my god.
wow,
And he almost loses his car.
this is
That was
not
the
going to
race
end
ending.
well.
Yep. And Shadows goes deep, and Alpines are side by side. They are not letting each other go. What is this?
And meanwhile, oh, Oxidized Rage.
And Oxidize
I think he spun.
spins. Yep, he did spin, or
Right.
did he make contact? We won't make assumptions. And Harsh makes move on PSI. That was a neat move on him. And he
So much
keeps
action in the midfield. It's
and Jishnu
very
and
difficult.
Abhishek fighting, and Abhishek goes around the outside, and both the McLarens are trembling down the order. They are P13, 14. I think Bharat started from the back, so he had made progress. And he, looking at the leaders, Redstone and Yash are pretty close. They are like 5-4 tenths, and VFX is just letting them go. I think he is just conserving his tires or something, because he always do that. And Redstone is just on Yash's tail, and it's 3 times. Can he get him out on the straight?
Here's Jishnu and Abhishek again going side by side. The McLarens are not helping each other by battling so much. And now I think Rev King might overtake Bharat as well. There you go. Rev King has overtaken the McLaren. Bharat down into P15. Remember, he
And
joined
Yash
mid
and
quali.
Redstone are pretty close, and Redstone had a snap, and I think he keeps his car safe, and he's pretty close, and he's not going for the move, and he's a smart driver, not as me, but okay.
Oh, that's TBK and Vyom. Vyom has just overtaken TBK, and TBK almost lost a position to Basil. So the top 7 have to kind
And
of spread
PSI
away.
and Abhishek, PSI is struggling, he's trembling down the order, and Abhishek and Jishnu are on his tail, and so is Rev King. Will Abhishek make the move on the inside, and PSI closes the door, and Abhishek is gonna be pressurized from Jishnu and Rev King and Bharat. These three, Jishnu, Rev King and Bharat, they are close, and Bharat goes around the inside, and he mounts the curb, and he didn't lose the car. What?
It seems
And
to
he
be still
goes,
going, and it goes down the inside of Rev King. Has taken the position back, but Rev King will have the inside of the next corner. Bharat will have to leave
and we
him
can
space.
see Basil and Ethan. Oh my god, Basil and TVK spins, and he resets to track.
Yeah, I just saw that. TBK resetting to
And
track.
Basil and TVK had a battle, and TVK snapped his rear, and then
But let's
I think
focus on the battle for the lead for a couple of moments, as Redstone is still trying to make his way past the Ferrari. Seems to be the faster car, to be honest, at this point in the race, but there is no DRS, and this track anyway is a bit difficult to overtake, which is why he's not able to make that move stick. As Ethan has now overtaken Shadow Sword, is Shadow Sword going to come back at him on traction? I don't think that's something which
No,
is likely.
he's not. And we can see PSI is again being attacked from Abhishek's TBK and Jishnu. Jishnu is quite far behind, but Abhishek's and TBK. And PSI, he is struggling with his power, but he defends like a lion. I have experienced that. He's a great defender. Oh my god, TBK is
Quite eager on the throttle there.
unfortunate for him.
And has lost even more places. I think he was battling for P6 or P5 at one point, but has lost, and I think there's definite damage on his AlphaTauri. Meanwhile, all good in the land of Ferrari. They're running 1 and 3. VFX a bit way off on Yash Gosalia. What line was that? You might have gotten a warning for that. And Redstone up all the while catching. Is he going to go for a move? I don't think he's going to do that.
He can't, because the turn one becomes more accurate if you
Oh,
go
yes,
side
goes
by
even
side.
wider there. So I don't know what's happening. Basil and Vyom, by the way, are battling, and they're going pretty deep into the corner. Was Vyom, but he keeps P6 for now. Right, Abhishek has a 3-second time penalty.
And Shadow and Ethan overtakes, and Ethan goes wide and Shadow overtakes him. And Harsh is at P9. I think he made up quite a few places. Wait.
There he goes. He's going to go for a double move.
No, he can't, because it's raining, and I can see Shadow had. Oh my god, he makes contact and goes wide. And looking at the position changes, the biggest gainers are Shadow Sword and Harsh, 9 and 6 respectively. The biggest losers are TBK and Jishnu, at TBK and Oxidize, losing 9 and 11 respectively. Pretty unfortunate for them. And there's a 3-way battle for P7. And
Yep. Well, Redstone is as close as he has been to Yash this time around, and if he can be a little bit bold in the application of throttle, he can make his way past the Ferrari. Shrikant, what do you think the strategy is going to be? If it is going to be a fully wet race with intermediates until the end of lap 33, but here goes Redstone. Is he going to? He's not using his battery. He's comfortable. He's comfortable sitting in P2 right now, and he doesn't have a lot of pressure from VFX.
For the back straight, because he thinks he can force Yash into a mistake into this uphill, and then he can get him into the hairpin.
Let's see.
He is using his battery now.
Oh, Shadow is round.
Yash has let him go. Oh my god! And Shadow is round.
Right. So Redstone in the lead of the race, and Ferraris are now 2 and 3. Yash definitely showing a good. Oh, what
and
happened there? There's another spinner. There's Oxidize or there's Shadow?
No, it is Shadow. I think he cooked his tires, so he's struggling with it.
Right, and after overtaking, look at Redstone Dub just making those gains on Yash Gosalia. He might be just driving off in the sunset at this point. Let's go back to this battle for P9 between PSI Legends and Abhishek.
Yep, Abhishek is quite close to him, and we have Sidvi in this chat saying PSI ka favorite track. Yes, it is one of PSI's favorite track indeed. And Abhishek goes down the inside, making it outside. PSI goes for the switchback, can't gain the traction, and Abhishek covers him off, and he covers the line, and he goes wide, and no, he doesn't. And he's hugging the apex, and Abhishek make a clean move. That was a nice move from Abhishek. And PSI is again trembling down the order. So I think he need to be consistent with his laps. Now just McLaren boys are charging up on him.
Yep, Justo and Bharat are hot in pursuit if PSI and Abhishek were to battle, and the gap up ahead is 1.6 seconds.
And we have yellow flag for
I think that's Viper speed maybe? Yeah, that is Viper speed. So yes, Redstone definitely has a lot of pace right now, and you know what, Srikanth? It has stopped raining.
Yeah, and I don't think there is forming a dry line. Yep.
Yeah, so maybe in a lap or two we should see people in the pits, and if it's going to stay dry,
it is basically 6 laps, 6 to 7 laps to become fully dry.
Let's see, and maybe Hards all the way should do the trick. As I'm following on board with Jishnu, obviously we'll see when DRS gets enabled because that's usually a very telling sign. PSL Legends is struggling through that corner, and I think he will fall prey. Look at that! People are in the pits. They didn't even wait for
Already.
those 2 laps, and people are in the pits. And let's see what these boys do. Jishnu and Bharat. Anyone in the pits? Yes, the McLaren in the pit, and the pit lane. Look at that! It's such a busy pit lane. And mediums for Redstone, medium for Yash Gosalia, hearts for Hushrav. VFX has gone on for one more lap, so he will have to
And the
make
track
up a
is
lot of
pretty
places.
dried up.
Yeah,
And
it looked like that on the stream. That's why I said maybe lap maximum 2. And
yeah.
well, there you go. Lap 7 was when everyone pitted. So only 5.
And Redstone struggles with putting on down his power, and he almost loses his car into turn 3 or 4.
Yep.
I don't.
Very important. He is the net leader right now, and he doesn't want to throw it away. He is easily going to get that lead once we fix Bharat and Abdul Samad pit. And Harsh
I
is on the
think
socks.
we fix Bharat and Abdul will lose out a lot because the track is pretty dry
Yeah,
as
do
I
you think
can
it was
see.
smart by VFix to stay out, or maybe he could have preferred the double
And
stack?
no, he could have preferred the double stack.
And
I
DRS
think he will
enabled, by
get
the
over.
way.
He might get overtaken by Hushrav.
Yeah, Hushrav and even Basil for that matter, or Vyom, they are not far back. Either way, VFX is in the pits.
Let's see where
And
he will end up.
yeah, let's follow this battle. Basil is hot on pursuit. Hushrav is on the hard, so Basil's mediums will have more purchase. But both of them have another objective in mind, and that is to keep ahead of VFX. Now here we go. Basil on the back of Hushrav. Basil should be using battery on the main straight to get past the Red Bull. And here we go, Basil. And look at VFX coming out on the track. I think he's going to be easily P2.
Yep, but he will struggle from the cold tires, and he's on hard, so Basil and Hushrav might catch up, and Basil is on hot medium tires, so anything is possible because it is easy to catch up on hot tires compared to the cold tires because I did catch some guy in Haas yesterday.
Right. Oh, that's Azun. What happened to Azun? It's off track. Has lost 2 positions there. But everyone now on the dry tires, and I think most of them will have to make a pit stop, except the likes of VFX and Hushrav. Basically, anyone on the hards might be able to go to the end. But it seems like if mediums are considerably faster than the hards, or Bharat and Ethan swapping positions.
And Viper speed goes faster, 123.1.
Yeah, now you'll see a lot of faster laps once the track completely dries up and drivers see that grip. But yes, everyone will have to make a pit stop except for maybe the hard runners. And if the mediums are significantly faster.
Hushrav and Vyom are fighting. Hushrav goes down the inside of Vyom and makes the move, and VFix and Basil are also fighting. Baz goes around the outside, makes the move stick. I think VFix is struggling on those cold tires, and he's under attack from Hushrav and Vyom.
Vyom is using his battery, so it could be
And
3 wide, or could it be 4 wide?
And VFix backs out. And Baz goes wide, and Hushrav makes the move down the inside, and VFX makes contact with Baz, and it's 3 wide into turn 3. Man, that was some opportunistic move from Vyom.
Yeah, Vyom just sent it down the inside into turn 3, and I think everyone was lucky there wasn't more contact or damage to anyone there. But all this is helping the likes of Yash Kosala and Redstone Dub do their own race. So that's definitely something for them to consider before they start battling each other tooth and nail. And the McLarens still in pursuit of Yoral Ethan. It seems like they have run behind each other all race, Bharat and Jishnu. Yeah. Sometimes swapping positions, but still just behind each other. I'm not sure if that's helping them. But now Vyom on the back of Hushrav, they were teammates last season, but they are not teammates anymore. It's Alpha Tauri versus Red Bull. And well, I don't think Hushrav will have a defense to Vyom because Vyom is on those mediums. He will have help of DRS as Redstone Dub now goes fastest. And now on the main straight, Vyom should have an easy way through or past Hushrav. Let's see.
And Vyom goes down the inside. Fix the
Oh,
inside.
Hushrav does
Hushrav gives them
defend.
space.
Hushrav did defend with all he could, but Vyom eventually powers past and on the mediums, and I think that's okay. And there you go,
And
McLaren
all this
switching
is
positions as
helping
well.
Basil and VFix to catch up again to this duo. And
Yep,
Hushrav is
it
back
will.
at it again. Will he make the move? No, he's quite far behind. And
I
Basil
think
is
Hushrav is
catching
smart
up.
enough not to battle Vyom right now because he knows he's clearly faster, and there are different strategies. Vyom needs to make a pit
Abdul
stop. Hushrav
Samad
doesn't,
losing 2 places in one corner, turn 3.
and he might lose another one to Hazoon. No, he won't.
Yes.
And
And
he'll
it's a
stay.
5-way battle for P13. Not for the points, but it's a battle for pride now. And Shadow Sword gets a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunate for him. Let's see the penalty situation now. And we have Abhishek's Oxy, and Abhishek loses his car into turn 8, and he is attacked from Rev King goes around the outside, and he makes the move stick, which turns into inside, and he is ahead of Abhishek.
Yes, Koselev is the fastest lap now, and he has cut the gap to Redstone by a few tenths on this lap. So the gap was, I think, almost 3 seconds or 2.7 seconds. Now it's 2.5 seconds. So Yash Kosela definitely catching up if he can keep up this pace.
And Azun overtook Abdul Samad. That
Yeah, and what happened to Oxidize? I think he spun once, and look at that. Yeah, and he is down in P17. He was looking good for a top 5
And Abdul
finish.
is flashing already. I think he depleted all his battery.
Out of context, Abdul is flashing already does not make good content for
Let keep this content family friendly and focus on the race now.
Sorry, Abdul, on behalf of Srikanth, I am sorry. But
On behalf
let's
of
see,
me.
Hushrav is almost about to be dropped by Vyom, but he's still within that DRS window, which is helping him because Basil, if he can somehow put Hushrav under pressure and Hushrav does not have DRS, I think it will be an easy move for Basil. And it's important for Baz in that Red Bull to get past Hushrav. In that Williams to get past Hushrav because of the pit stop strategy. But look at that on the main straight. Redstone and Yash Kosalia are nowhere to be seen. They have gone 8.5 seconds to everyone else, and that's a very healthy lead.
And this is pretty impressive, just like
Oh,
yesterday.
Vyom gets a 3 second. That's not
And the
going to help
safety
him.
car can turn things around. And we have Sidvi and Raman saying that Hearts can go to end easily. Yes, it can go easily. And Hushrav loses his, and he's under attack from Baz. And VFix is just staying calm behind them, and Baz chooses to stay behind. And
But I want to point something out, but I don't want to jinx it, so I'll just reserve my comments until the end of the race. VFX looking very racy right now, and he's being patient all race. But now I think he might be getting a little bit frustrated in that cockpit because people ahead of him are not getting a move on, and they are battling each other so much that it's losing them and him time. Now, Baz, can he finally get ahead of Hushrav? He's using his battery at the exit of that corner, and Hushrav will still have DRS. But Baz, I think, will have the overspeed. Hushrav does not have DRS, and Baz chooses the left of the track, and Hushrav stays just about in front. Or does he? Baz tries to go around the outside. Hushrav gives him enough space, but also places his car perfectly there.
And spins again at the final corner.
Baz using even more battery and is going to go down the inside. Hushrav defends the inside, and that was a late move if Baz would be asked.
And Baz loses his rear. And he's under attack from VFix. They are side by side into turn 7. And VFix makes the moves into turn 7 and turn 8, and he overtakes Baz.
Right, so VFix Very opportunistic, and meanwhile, Redstone Derp has stretched his legs, and 3.6 is the gap up front. So, medium runners, Srikanth, when do you think they will be pitting? I'm assuming the medium
They
goes around
might
14,
pit,
15 laps.
yeah,
So, do
they
you
might pit
think
around 25, 27 going on the softs
on the
and charging
softs?
end to end. Yep,
Yep,
they
makes
might go on the
sense.
softs. Or
Right,
they
any other
might
back?
stretch it to the end. We don't know. We
I
don't
think
know.
it's a bit too much to ask for if they want to go to the end because they pit on lap 7, remember. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of laps on the mediums. 26 laps is a lot of laps. Now, Hushram has fallen out of DRS
And
from
we
Vyom.
have,
So,
and Hushrav is getting attacked from VFX and Ethan, and we have seen a position change between PS and Bharat. That was an opportunistic move from PSI. I think Bharat rode a curb and let PSI go,
yeah, it
and
could have
Bharat will
been.
have the. Yep, Bharat gets the DRS, and he is going around the outside. Will he dive down? No, he won't. And PSI is struggling, and
Oh,
Bharat makes a contact
he
with
struggled
PSI.
so much, PSI, on the traction there,
I
despite being
think
on the
PSI
mediums.
messed up his setup.
Yeah, could have been. Either way, it's back to the fight for P4 right now. VFX just about hanging on to Hushdov, who has definitely fallen out of DRS from Vyom. So Vyom, he has to just absolutely gun it right now because of his penalty as well, and that pit stop which he will be making, which others might not. Now Baz would be so frustrated. He was on course to take P4 from Hushrav, but instead he's down in P6 and
That
in a kind
mistake
of a,
cost him dearly.
yeah. And oh, Harsh is in the pits. His soft tires are done after 7 laps, and now,
And he might go on the mediums. I will just
yeah,
watch
those
where.
mediums should go to the end. 17 laps from
Yep,
here on
yep,
will
yep.
be a little bit tricky, but should go to the end.
It might not. He will be hoping for a late safety car. Everyone will be hoping for a late safety car.
Mediums
Just
it
the hard
is
tire.
for Harsh.
Yep. And hard tires will be not hoping for a safety car. And Harsh comes out in peace. And he cuts the
Oh,
pit lane exit and goes for what?
wow. That's the first time I've seen the game give that penalty. Usually it gives a warning, but the game is doing live stewarding now. And it's a 5 second penalty for Harsh, which will not be removed, mind you, if he indeed cut that exit line. So we
He
fix
did,
now
he
5
did.
tenths behind Hushrav. And can he make a move? Or does he want to make a move?
And
Was
Oxray spins
Oxidize?
again.
I'm
He
assuming
is
that was the
struggling,
exit of
Arvin.
the hairpin.
Yep.
And he has. Right, so VFX losing some time in the last couple of corners, which is why he's
And
not
the
able to get
McLarens
past.
are. And Jishnu spun. Out of the penultimate corner, Jishnu spun and gives position to PSI and Bharat.
I think the McLarens wanted to be together again, which is why Jishnu spun. PSI up into P8, and well, normalcy restored is all I can say. TBK on the back of Shadow Sword, if you can keep an eye out on that battle, because I think TBK might just be about to overtake Shadow Sword
Yep.
here on the main straight. Here goes the Alpha Tauri on the Aston Martin. He's closing, but not
And
enough. Shadow Sword seems to be running a
he
low
is not
downforce
using his
setup.
battery. He might attack him on the back straight. And he closes into turn one quite a bit. Yes, Shadow Sword. And he goes down the inside and forces Shadow Sword out. And he's making a contact. Typical TBK.
He's going to go down the inside this time, TBK? No, he does not. That is not typical of him to not go for that move and sticks behind for P15 for the moment. Back to the battle for P4. VFX still behind
Yes.
Hushrav.
And
And
VFix and Basil are not really attacking because you can see VFix is conserving his battery, which he always does. He's like around a high percentage, and Hushrav is like mediocre, like medium between 50-40. And
mediocre.
no, he's not a mediocre driver. Man, Malav, just understand the emotions. You are like,
I'm going to clip some of these statements you've made, and
I hate you, Malav.
Here we go, by the way. Hershey on the back of TBK, who's on the
Hush,
back of
hush.
Shadow Sword. TBK spun! Oh,
And
Hershey avoided
TBK
him.
is.
Hershey
Did he
avoided
touch
him. He could
him?
have. No, I
Oh,
think he just missed him. Otherwise, he would have been collateral damage. But here goes Hershey on the back of Shadow Sword. He's going to go for a
and
move. No, Shadow Sword
by the
is
way,
brave
he
and
is
tough breaking.
Hush. Hershey is
Oh,
not
yeah, it's
racing.
Hersh. My bad. It's just been so
Yeah,
used to
common
calling
mal
him
of
Hersh.
noobness, but
Yeah.
okay.
Here we go. On the back straight.
And
Oxidized
Oxidized
Race
Race
is
DNS
that's in the pits. That's in the
in the
pits.
pits.
And
Yesterday's race winner has rage quitted. Ooh,
wow.
sad for
So
him.
Hurst finally up into P14. And now, by the way, Basil has lost DRS to VFix. So maybe it's time that those medium runners are struggling just a little bit. But you can't really say that for Redstone Dub. Oh, who was
And
that?
there's a shot. I
Oh, that's
think
Oxidized.
it's
That's no, that's
Oxidized's
Oxidized.
retired car.
Yep, that's Oxidized's
And
car. So
it
that should
who's
be.
that? Is TVK labbed? Yes, he is labbed.
Was that TVK who was on the grass?
No, he is not. No, TVK spins again. I think he cooked his tires. Penultimate corner.
Right, up ahead, the gap is now 5.5 seconds. So Redstone Dub really on his own. And let's see when they finally decide to pit. I'm assuming in the next 5 to 6 laps, when they then go on to the soft tires, which would make the race pretty easy for them. Now Shadow Sword and oh, Shadow Sword spin. I'm not sure if he made
It's not a
contact with Abdul. No,
it's
sorry,
not
Abdul.
a good day
Harsh.
for Aston Martins today. I think it was not a contact with Abdul because Abdul is quite far behind Shadow Sword. And
Yeah,
Abdul
it
is a
was Harsh.
clean
It was
driver.
Harsh. I think he might
And
have made
TVK
one.
in the pits and he's serving his penalty and going on the soft tires. Pretty strange.
13 laps on softs. I don't think he's gonna make it.
And he's getting lapped by his teammate and by Basil also, so with Ethan, and he's ghosted.
Right. So back to this battle between VFix and Husho. That's the closest battle we have on the track right now, apart from the URL boys for P6. What do you think VFix's strategy is here? Do you think he's just letting Husho tag him along, and then once the medium runner split is when he would really make some kind of a claim to the position, or do you think that it's
Basically,
that difficult to vote on this track that Gustav is just naturally able to keep ahead?
VFX is not a guy to like overtake here and there. He's just like sitting behind, conserving his tires and ERS to go for a late move. Like because you can see ahead of him, everyone is a hard runner, is medium runner. Someone spun. It's Shadow
Shadow
Sword.
Sword. By the
Yep.
way, can you just check? Just spectate TBK. I'm not gonna do that because I have to watch this
Yep,
battle in
yep, yep.
condition.
And that's I don't want to say that, but
I
it was
said
an intentional DNF.
no. So what he's saying is the damage is off. That's the point he's trying to make.
Oh, is the damage off?
Yeah. Look at that. What is it? He's gonna bring out a
Um,
virtual safety car at this point. If he doesn't get out TBK, if you're hearing this, please just come
yeah.
on the track and then you can retire in the pits if you need to. But
And
please don't do
and
that,
he
TBK.
is the damage off?
Yeah, I think the damage is off. There's no way he's going to survive that many
Yeah.
crashes, and the front wing is intact as well. So the damage is off. Now, TBK, you really need to stop this. You have made your point. If you're hearing
We
this,
got it.
we got it.
Caesar
Retire
will
in the
look
pits
into
if you
it.
need to. I mean, there's nothing to look. It's a miss, maybe, or it's a glitch. One of the two things. But oh, Shadow
And Shadow
Sword!
Sword
Oh, that's in the
retired
pits. It's
with
in the pits. It's in
in
the
the
pits.
pits.
Every time someone
Both the
retires,
Aston Martins pitting in, retiring in the pits. Not a good day for them, and TVK is still in the gravel, and he is disqualified. He might be noted for this and get a race ban. Race ban is quite harsh, but okay. And
Right.
VFX is still on the tail of Hushrav, and he is.
Oh, is that Shadow Sword who's ahead of him?
Yep. Oh my god! Shadow Sword's car almost killed VFX. This game. EA get better.
Why was Shadow Sword
Man.
not TBK? I mean, we can't restart the race now. I mean, it's the same for everyone. Maybe it's a mistake, or maybe it's a glitch, but not the time to restart. So you should have really just kept going and not try to demonstrate how good you are at crashing your car, but failing at that. Either ways,
And
uh,
VFX has like fallen off, and he's outside DRS range of
I
Hushrav.
think he'll have to push a little bit to
Yep.
get back into that DRS. And 14 laps. Oh,
And we
there's
have
a spinner.
yellow
Viper.
flag for Viper speed. Yes, he spins. Turn 8.
And Redstone
That's
spins.
wi- and he
Spins,
again
name
what?
pits.
Oh
He's
my
in the
god,
pit.
Malav, you almost
Slip of
gave me
tongue.
an heart attack.
Yash is continuing. Let's see what Vyom does.
And he's going on mediums.
So that's
Redstone.
sensible. I think he doesn't want to risk it. And 10 laps would be a bit stretching it on the hards, on the softs rather. So, yeah.
And
So Redstone
Redstone
will come
comes
out P7
and
and
he's ahead of PSI and Bharat.
right.
So
So
he's
let's see
in
the
quite a
gap to
pain and
leader.
he almost had a movement.
Let's see the gap to leader is 20 seconds and the gap to Hushrav is basically 10 seconds. So he has to make up 10
Uh,
seconds in 10 laps. That is 1 second per lap.
and Azun and Red King fighting. No, Red King pits. Red King pits for mediums as well. And if Yash will do a overcut is powerful. We have witnessed it. So he will be ahead, might be ahead of Redstone.
But the gap
We
was
can't say
almost 6 seconds. I don't think the workout is that powerful unless Redstone makes a mistake. But here's the
no.
important statistic.
5 seconds
Redstone,
was close.
10 seconds is the gap between Redstone and Hushrav. So 1 second per lap is what he needs to catch Hushrav by.
And Yash pits.
Right, so just in the pits, what is Vyom going to do? Can Vyom just go on and maybe pit on softs a couple of laps from now? I think that's what his plan is to. VFix, by the way, back in DRS of Hushraf. And Ethan in DRS of Baz. Let's see where
And
Yash
Yash
Gosala
goes
comes
for
out.
mediums as well.
Yash goes for
And
mediums. He has lost the position to
he will
Ethan and
come out
Baz.
behind Yash, Redstone and
Redstone.
PSI.
Yes, so Redstone is up
And
and
Bharat's in the pits. And he pits for mediums as well.
oh, PSI has had a moment.
Yep. And Abhishek is going till the end, so Bharat need to do some work to get back all these positions, and overtaking is difficult on this track. And Jishnu goes fastest, 199. On the new mediums, and Jishnu and Bharat are close again. These McLaren boys are meant to be together. And Jishnu overtakes on the warm tires. And he's on mediums.
Both of them on the mediums. Jishnu's 3 laps older and Bharat just
And
pitted.
Ethan on the back of Basil, so this battle will be interesting.
They're still going, and let's see what Vyom does first of all. Vyom is being caught up by Hushrav now. Those medium tires really second hand. But if he can go just one more lap, Vyom, or maybe this lap is the optimal time to pit. No, he does not. So one more lap for Vyom. But he's definitely out of contention for winning the race. I don't think the softs will. Oh, he's just letting Hushrav go
And
there.
Ethan pits.
So that's Red Bull versus. Oh, it's not really versus. Ethan is in the pits and is.
And VFX really needs to overtake Vyom as early as possible, because if Hushrav goes above 1 second, so it will
I
be
think
a struggle for him.
that probably is the plan for Vyom. He's gonna hold VFX up.
Yep.
But let's see, VFX could still overtake him and
VFX
then
is
catch
on
up to Hushrav.
Same tires as Vyom, so
Well, but those
no,
hards were
Vyom
definitely
is
better
on
than.
mediums. Yep, hards
Exactly.
are better.
Yeah, because now VFX around the outside is getting a good traction, but Vyom just about holding on. And this is really hurting. Oh,
And
yes,
yes, Koshalya
Koshalya
left.
disconnected.
Wait, I will send him an invite.
VFX and Vyom going side by side through that corner. VFX down the inside. Vyom giving him all the time and space, but he is going to fight back. He has his nose in front. And when does he finally decide to pit is the question. VFX on
And
the
Vyom is
outside.
pushing VFX wide. And it's a nice, clean, hard racing, and Vyom
And he
pits.
has done his part. He has helped the Red Bull. And look at the gap.
VFX is around
It's
3
just-
seconds behind.
Yeah,
Oh
cost
my god.
VFX 2 seconds there. Redstone
And
now
Redstone goes fastest,
up
199,
into P3
197.
and almost 8 seconds is the gap. More than 8 seconds to Hushraf. Can Redstone finally get
It
to the
will be
top of the
tight
podium?
around the end.
And PSL Legends meanwhile is on his way to overtake Yash because Yash has disconnected. Really unfortunate for Yash to disconnect and lose so much time. Yash Kusal has finally joined, but he has lost so much time there and would not help his race at all. Meanwhile, Abhishek's P7 on the hards. He's also going to the end, and Vyom has come out ahead of him. So let's see the kind of progress Vyom makes
But
now.
all the guys around him are on fresh soft, so we might see some battles incoming for Abhishek. It might be a tough time for him to keep that P7.
And he has a penalty as well. So
Yep, 3 seconds worth of penalty.
right, Harsh and Bharat battling. Bharat was ahead in the hairpin, but maybe Harsh did get a better traction despite being
Yes,
on
Ghosal
older
joined
tires.
again.
Yeah, he's trying to, I think, take control of his car, which he's unable to do. So Redstone up absolutely flying
And
now.
Vyom is catching up to him. Very unfortunate for him.
And we will overtake Yash, whether or not he's disconnected, because he is on those fresh softs, and that will be seconds, maybe couple of seconds faster each lap, and that should be a fastest lap for Vyom. No,
And
it's not. Ethan goes
Ethan
fastest.
goes 119.3 on the soft tires, and soft tires are faster. And I can see PSI and Azun on 19 laps old mediums.
They are going to the end as well, just waiting for a safety car maybe. Vyom on
But-
the back of Yash Gosalia. Yash Gosalia now has. Oh, Vyom! Are you kidding me with that?
Oh my god, that's the report incoming.
Oh,
And Yash will be furious as well. That was like, and Yash's rear is unstable, and Vyom is going for a move again. No, Yash cover him off. Oh my god, Vyom, that was not done. That was not done. He just dived down the inside. Man, you have pace. Oh my god, it's some revengeful driving going on now. Yash spins. Oh my god, that's not nice. That's not nice, Vyom. You shouldn't do that. And Ethan overtakes Abhishek.
yeah, I
And
think
Yash
Abhishek
is
might have made a mistake somewhere. Ethan is through.
But Ethan is, oh my god, Yash is having complete nightmares. 3 second worth of penalty again. And Basil goes fastest, 118.9 on those soft tires. The softs are pretty powerful. And Baz is behind Abhishek, and Abhishek is behind Ethan. What do you think? Will Baz overtake into the hairpin?
I think Baz is a bit far off, and Abhishek has DRS. So Baz will have to be patient, and unlike Vyom, he does not send it. But on the exit, maybe the Williams driver will have a better run. The gap is closing, but it's still there. And round the outside goes Baz, and yes, that's the way to get past the driver. And Baz is up into P7. A good running for him. And those soft runners are coming to the end zone, and Vyom has overtaken PSI.
Vyom is just overtaking left and right.
And that's okay. He's on the softs, and that's absolutely fine. But
His
dive bombs are
racecraft
not
was not okay.
exactly. That was a bit
unacceptable.
I mean, I'm laughing, but it was no joke. Either ways, VFX now back. He's done all the hard work.
Shadow Sword left.
And 1.5 seconds is the gap to Hushraf.
And we can see a battle for P9 between Azun, Jishnu, yeah, this trio. We might see a battle brewing. as Jishnu will catch up to them when they are fighting, and Jishnu is on fresher tires compared to Azun.
Yes, Gosalia might get Azun. No, I think Azun is a bit far off in the distance, but VFix is slowly catching up to Hushrav, and they really need to do it ASAP because Redstone is going to join the party, and VFix better have DRS when Redstone finally arrives on the scene. 4 laps to go, and I think Redstone might just run out of laps at
And
this
Yash
rate.
is on the back of Azun. He aims around the down the outside. Yep, no,
Inside,
down the
and
inside. Yeah,
Yash is
he
up
makes the move. These
into
camera
P9.
angles are weird.
Yeah, that's just
Thanks,
Codemasters.
Cody's.
Uh, it's just a nightmare. Now you are Ethan on the back of PSI Legends. PSI Legends lets him through because Ethan on a completely different strategy, much faster
Yeah.
tires. V fixed 1.3 seconds. It is race
And
critical for him.
Baz also overtakes PSI. They are side by side, and both are out of battery. And oh my God, Cody's get better.
It was
What
just
is this
showing me the
camera angle?
empty track. I could
Yes,
see
yes,
just the track, no
yes,
car.
yes, yes, yes.
But
This game is. I
right,
don't want to say
so
it. They will
both the
ban me.
URL boys are through. Can Abhishek make his way past? His hard tires would definitely be faster
And I
than.
would like to make a point.
Does PSI
Azul
has a
and PS.
puncture? Wait,
Yep, and they are at a puncture territory. Yes, that's what I was going to say.
I think he might have a puncture because his car is
No,
sparking.
he is not having a. Oh my God, Abhishek makes a contact. Yes, he is having a puncture. Or yes, and Azun is also dropping. I think Azun is also having a puncture. Both these guys have run for 22 laps of
VFX, by the
medium.
way, almost in DRS of Hushrav. I don't think there's going to be any safety car now, so that is good for VFX. I believe he can put some pressure on Hushrav for the win. It's now just dropped a couple of tenths. But Abhishek's on the back of PSI Legends. I don't think he has a puncture, but I think the
No,
tires have just fallen off a cliff.
Yep.
And absolutely no performance left on those yellow mark tires. Abhishek's trying to avoid PSI almost because he doesn't want to run into the back of him. But the Alpine driver
And he
is.
struggles. He loses his
Oh my
rear
god.
end, and Abhishek's have to settle behind him. And Repkin gets a 3-second time penalty, and PSI is clearly struggling, and Abhishek is frustrated under that helmet, and Abhishek will try to get him in this straight. PSI covers off the what? That was 2 defensive moves, I guess. Again.
It's okay. And yes, Abhishek says pass now. VFX, what do you have in store? 1.0 seconds. I think both him and Hushrav are depleting all their battery to ensure that one is ensuring he keeps out
And
of
Yash
DRS
is
and the other.
behind PSI. 3 tenths and PSI lets him go. Okay, he decides not to fight and conserve his tires.
I mean, he just needs to keep going to the end at this point, or Red King and
Someone
Harsh.
Hush spins turn 1 out of turn 1. I think he hit that sausage curb. Unfortunate for him.
Right, Redstone has finally arrived on the scene and he has 2 laps. I think he has just about left it a little bit late. VFix does not have DRS on the main straight, and Hushrav is looking good right now. I don't want to jinx it, but he seems to have this under control. Obviously helped by Vyom in that in-lap which Vyom had, but Hushrav might have this under control. Either ways, VFix will now have DRS. There you go, the rear wing flap open, and is he letting
So does
Redstone through?
Redstone.
Is he letting
Yes,
Redstone through?
he is letting
letting
Redstone through.
Wow.
And
Oh,
someone
who
spins.
was that
That's
spinner?
Viper speed. That's the Viper speed, I guess. Yes.
Oh my
He's
God.
letting Redstone through to attack Hushrav and make him slow. I think that's the strategy.
Oh, but can Redstone then capitalize
And
on
he
this?
is outside the DRS range.
Just at DRS range now, but maybe the next few corners, it's very, very important for Redstone to have DRS on the main straight and then attack Hushrav on the back straight going into the hairpin. The gap is tantalizingly close. It's still above 1 second. Now
And
it's
Jishnu
9
and
tenths.
PSI.
And
And
going
Jishnu gets
into
a
the
3
last
second
lap
penalty.
of this race, lap 33 of 33 is about to be upon us, and Redstone Derp will have DRS on Hushrav. This is going to be a last lap attack, and it might be a last lap overtake. Redstone not using the battery right now. You can see Hushrav's red light is flashing, and Redstone Derp, Here we go. Abhishek, by the way, is overtaken by Yash. But Redstone has driven a perfect race until now. This is just a strategy which has brought these guys together on the last lap. It might be the second sector where he gets his more and gets out of shape. Redstone. That was so important for him to get it right, but he has made a bit of a mistake there and is trying his best. Oh, he's
And
losing
he
his car
loses his
once
rear.
again. He's a bit eager right now to get past Hushrav, and Hushrav's red light flashing all the way. It should be until the finish line, to be honest, where Hushrav's red light is flashing. Redstone needs to keep his cool. He will still have one more opportunity. Although this is the last lap, but look at the kind of gains he's making on the Red Bull. Will stay on board with this battle throughout the last lap, and it seems like Khusro might have just gotten it covered. Let's see what kind of traction the both of them get through the last couple of corners. VFX nowhere in contention, but he will get his P3, and Vyom down in P4 will get his P4 despite penalties. But it's the this battle we are worried about. Redstone depleting everything he has, but Hushdo just about enough. Redstone is about out of fuel.
And he's letting VFix go. I think
Or
it
he's
was a
letting VFX go. Yeah, that's the more likely explanation. He has let VFX go. Brilliant sportsmanship
because
all
VFix let
around.
him go.
Yep, that is
The
exactly what
that
happened.
was
Redstone in P3. Vyom is going to finish in P4. Let's see how many penalties he has. It's 3 seconds, so he will finish P4, Vyom, and Ethan and Baz will finish P5 and P6 respectively. Can Yash Kosalia now get past Abhishek? I think Kosalia will probably not have enough speed to do that, and he is going to finish P8, but it could have been much more for Yash Kosalia. Was fighting for P2 at one point in time. Jishnu P9, PSI and Azun going side by side. Azun is anyway going to overtake, and PSI has a penalty as well. Azun will finish P10, the last of the point scorers, followed by PSI, Bharat. Rev King is a long, long way off. And then we have the likes of Harsh. Oh, Rev King has spun. Wow, what a race that was. Plenty of action,
and
plenty
Red
of
King
drama,
loses.
strategies coming into the play, and it seemed like towards the end it was the hard tire strategy which was the better one. That extra pit stop did cost Redstone some time, but it just feels like
That
maybe
did
he would have had
cost
a
him a
better chance.
potential win. That
Yeah,
did cost him a
yeah,
potential
but
win.
we're all thinking that he might go on the softs, won't he? Maybe lap 24, 25 is when he would pit. Remains to be seen if that would have worked out better. It's a what if question. But either ways, that was the end of the race. And Srikanth, if you can get our top
Yep.
three, that's Hoshra, VFX, and Redstone in the party chat. We'll have a quick word with them before we call it a day. Uh, can someone let me know if you can still hear me? Because I think I got kicked from my own party. If someone in the comments section. Right, Srikanth, if you can hear me, please invite me to the party. I can't. Srikanth, can you hear me? Srikanth, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, can you get others in
Yes.
as well? All right, this is just. Hey, Hushrav, can you just invite Redstone? We're having a bit of a difficulty.
If he's on my friend list, I can, yes.
Ah, I just invited him. Never mind.
Got it? Okay. Anyone
I
else you need me
just
to invite?
MF invited VFix as well. Hopefully he can join, and hopefully your audio is audible on the stream. If someone can confirm that, that would help. Let's see when VFX and Redstone join, and then we can get this started. Either ways, I think the stream is delayed anyway, so Hushra will just start with you while the others
One sec,
join.
one sec. Just let me make sure my audio is on.
Yep,
Yep, all
you
good.
do that while I
Done,
ask my
done.
question. Is yes, Hushra, what a race! Not a first. The first stint wasn't probably up to the plan, and very surprised in qualifying when you saw Redstone and Yash in front of you. And talk us about the setups as well, because clearly we in the comms box did not know that it was going to rain, but it was
We
for the
didn't
first.
either.
Right. So then
It
I'm
was
assuming
it
everyone
was
was
dry. It was
running.
dry. Yeah, we all were on dry setups. It was dry on our display in qualifying as well. The rain was completely random. No one saw it coming. I wasn't that surprised to see Redstone up there because from China only I saw he had good pace, and then today I got on like an hour before to actually do the track, and I saw his time was right up there, so I knew Redstone would have pace. Yash was a bit surprising because he is quick, but I didn't expect him to be that quick. I made a bit of a botch in qualifying myself, so. And it was a wet stint. I had never driven this track in wet before, so I was like, let me just survive the first stint. So nothing special went about my business. I mean, I was keeping pace there or thereabouts. Redstone was mighty quick in that intermediate stint. And then, yeah, I went on to the hards. It was painful for the first 4 or 5 laps, I think, because my god, because the track was damp as well, and it was taking time to get up to temperature, so it was like ice skating for the first 5 laps. So yeah, it was about surviving those initial laps, and then it was keeping pace, keeping consistency, going till the end. So when Guillaume, Basil, all of them are coming through first on the mediums, I didn't bother much. I was like, go ahead, because my strategy, which was going straight onto hards, would have only worked if I minimized my time loss battling everyone. So I was like, yeah, go ahead. And then eventually, when their tires dropped off, I got back at them again and made the move stick. And after that, I was just keeping VFix behind at the end. I think he let Redstone bar in the last lap, second last lap, to have a go at me. And I think Redstone just ran out of battery, which I realized on the second last lap itself. So it was just, parking the car in the right spots, making the defense. And yeah, that was it. Good race.
Yeah, in fact, that was very visible with you and VFX that you were not trying to fight for a lot of positions after the first round of pit stops when you finally pitted for the dry tires, because the likes of Vyom and Baz were pretty quick on those mediums, and you probably just wanted to save your tires to the end, because I think at that point you knew that they will have to make another pit stop and you will go to the end unless there is a
Yeah,
safety
exactly,
car.
exactly. It was just exactly. My strategy would have, I mean, the core fundamental was just minimizing that race time as much as possible. And the best way to minimize the race time is obviously A, go fast as possible yourself, and B, just don't spend time battling people. So wherever I could, I mean, if it meant deploying a bit of ERS to stay out of VFix's DRS, and that's what I was doing. So I was just trying to ensure he didn't battle me and I didn't battle him as much as I could possibly do it. And yeah, seemed to work out in the end, which was good, and had obviously a little bit of help from the Alpha Tauri as well. So that aided me just that bit extra as well, because I knew I had one lap older tires in VFix, so I knew towards the end he might come back at me a bit. But yeah, otherwise pretty good.
Right, that was a well managed race, so congratulations on that. Coming to VFix, I don't know if Redstone is in the party, so maybe can try once again. And I'm sorry,
I tried
Srikanth,
adding him. You can't add him.
for some reason, then I'm not sure what happened. I'm trying to add Srikanth as well, but the moment I do that, the party just disintegrates. So
Yeah,
I'll have to figure that out.
PSN knows. PSN knows.
Right. So VFX, on to you. Just to start with, first of all, qualifying was a bit surprising to see you down in P3. That's not something which we see very often. So just help us through your qualifying, and then the whole race, especially when the Alpha Tauri did help Husrav, and towards the last lap when you thought that maybe you could give Redstone a chance to overtake Husrav, it almost worked out towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying was a bit scruffy, but I mean, I think I was sneezing like every two corners. So like the fact that they even put a lap on board, like it was just putting a lap on board. And I think in qualifying now, especially this season, I think it's much closer. From even from it's a gigantic step from last season. I think last season there used to be that like 6 7 tenths gap between P3 to P4 or something. I don't think we're seeing
I think
like
it was
huge
one
spread
second
of
between
more than
P1 to
a
P14 or P15 this time around. So it
yeah.
was pretty
So
close,
like
yes.
even the barest of like mistakes. So I've just started focusing on the race, getting a good launch off the line. I did know that I thought it might rain because you can't trust this game's the sunlight and the rain graphic, because it said sunlight, but then it said like 58% chance of rain on the graphic screen, the weather report. So I knew it was going to be a wet start. I did get like the best run, I think, out of the top three, but then Portimao is a very difficult track to actually pull and overtake out on the outside. So yeah, just had to settle for P3, and then I don't think I would have kept up with Redstone anyway. He was running much more. I was running a very low downforce setup, so that was helping me in the dry in the straights to catch up. And yeah,
Right, talk us through
coming
your
out of the
battle with
pits,
Hushrav as well, because you were tantalizingly close to DRS a lot of times, and I think you were keeping him DRS, but it seemed to us that you were not keen on overtaking him anytime soon. You were just biding your time, waiting for the round of pit stops to happen, get a clear field between you and Hushrav, and then go for the kill.
yeah, because you want to minimize the number of people who can actually like win the race. If I fought with Hushrov, like when the other guys hadn't made their pit stops, then they would have been closer when they came out of the pits. So that would have been a difficult. That would have been more difficult, and we could have ended up. Unfortunately for Yash, I think his entire console turned off for some reason. Without that, I would have been settling for P4, worst case scenario. Whereas if I just didn't battle with Hushrov, that was P3 minimum. So just have to do the maths in your head, really. And yeah, there's a scary moment where Vyom and Basil sandwiched me. They made
Yeah,
me
that was
experience a
turn
lot of
two,
things.
turn three, if I'm not wrong, the first sector.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
this
that was a bit.
I have no words. I prefer not to speak. Just gonna say there's a reason some drivers have more warnings than Caesar has race wins in this league. But yeah, coming back to it, yeah, I think Hushravan had pretty equal pace, so overtaking him was going to be really difficult anyway, because you need a big like pace difference in Portimao to overtake the guy ahead. So yeah, I think P2. P2 should be, we should be happy with that.
Right, yeah, that was very. Yeah, it looked like that you and Hushrav were pretty equal on pace, so that eventually did turn out that way. But either way, it's a good start to the season for you as well. VFX a win in the first one and P2 in the second. So keep going, and yeah, Barcelona did get 3 points as well. So it's been a good
Yes,
weekend.
I did see that. I
So
did see that just now.
yeah, so either ways, thank you everyone for joining. Congratulations to VFX, Hoshrav, and Redstone. Thank you to Srikanth as well, who did jump in the comms box at the last minute and help me out with comms. Unfortunately, could not join this party to have a chat with you guys. But we'll see you tomorrow for the F2 race if it happens. Otherwise, next weekend we'll have a race for D2 and Division 1 at the same time, same days. Until then, keep
Keep.